nuts. This is crazy. Oh, this is unbelievable.
Now, I'm sure that some people who click on this video are going to consider this clickbait and they're going to be frustrated. But you know what? I don't consider it clickbait because I honestly think it's a true statement. What we're going to talk about today is a rumor, and I want to stress right off the bat right now that this rumor is most likely not true. It's most likely fake. But there is enough here that I feel warrants a second discussion, because if this is true, if by the time we get to the next generation consoles and we find out this actually turns out to be the case, and this turns out to be true, and this actually happens, then the title of this video and the thumbnail, I think, are 100% true. I think this would pretty much end Xbox. So, what am I talking about here? I'm talking about this new, or these recent, Grand Theft Auto 6 rumors. Now, some of you have been asking me to talk about this, and I contemplated whether or not I wanted to talk about it because, you know, when you just think about Grand Theft Auto 6, it's just hard not to think, too early to talk about it, right? I mean, we have no idea what Rockstar's plans are going forward. We know that they're going to make another Grand Theft Auto game, obviously, but that's pretty much all we know. And it seems like we're always getting different leaks and different rumors on all these different things all the time. But if you guys remember, okay, I think this was last month, maybe a little bit further than that. I can't remember exactly, but it was recently. It wasn't that long ago. There was this crazy rumor that was obviously fake. And when I made a video talking about it, I pretty much just emphasized, look, this isn't true, but could you imagine if it was true? And this video maybe is going to be a little bit similar to that one, but the supposed rumor was that Take-Two Interactive was in talks with Sony to possibly be acquired by Sony. Yes, that's right, the entirety of Take-Two Interactive and all of their studios, including Rockstar and many more, and that would mean that Sony owns the Grand Theft Auto IP, and it was insane. Right, and this rumor actually started to gain a lot of traction because it was one of these things where, wait, is this really happening? Could this be possible? Is this something that's actually going on? And I think Sony themselves had to come out and let us know, listen guys, no, it's not true. It's not happening. We're not doing that. I don't know, and they claim that they don't know where these rumors are coming from. But the interesting thing about the gaming industry is when it comes to rumors, it really is hit or miss. Like, they come from somewhere, and they come from one of two places. They come from people who are just making stuff up just for whatever reason, just to get people talking, just to troll people, or they actually come from something, you hear the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, and that's why I'm talking about this, because it was one thing when we had this one big major supposed leak that was clearly fake. Now we have another, and this leak is claiming that GTA 6 is going to be a 1-month timed exclusive for the PlayStation 5, and I want you guys to understand that this is starting to seem to me just a little bit, and I want to emphasize that, just a little bit, not a lot. I'm not sitting here saying this is happening, oh yeah, let's get hyped if you're a PlayStation fan or whatever. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that I believe this a little bit because it's starting to seem to me that maybe Sony has been or was actually in talks with Take-Two regarding the next generation consoles and their plans. Something else I have to emphasize here when it comes to this is you have to understand the importance of PlayStation to a company like Sony. There's a lot of people who, when they hear this, they will immediately say, no way, there's absolutely no way, there's no chance that Sony would shell out the money required for a 1-month timed exclusive for a game like Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, here's the thing. If Grand Theft Auto 6 is in development, I think it's safe to say it is to some capacity. There's a good chance that Rockstar wants to try to have it out sometime during the next generation. Now, we don't know when that's going to be. It could be at launch, probably unlikely. It could be 2 years after launch. We don't know. What we do know is that they want to do something probably insane with GTA 6. And you think about the importance of PlayStation for a company like Sony. It's keeping them afloat. It's keeping them alive. Without PlayStation, Sony would be pretty much nothing right now. They'd have a very hard time. And Sony also understands that they need to remain relevant when it comes to PlayStation. They need to be top dog at all times. And, they understand that if they want to continue to grow, they have to make big moves, man. They have to do things that just pretty much make the competition almost irrelevant. And frankly, if I'm being honest, a move like this, regardless of how much money it would cost them, would do just that. I mean, if there's anything Sony could do other than what they've been doing with making great exclusive games, giving gamers a real reason to look at their platform, to invest in the platform, a reason to come over and buy a PlayStation console and buy their games, doing something like this would truly make their competition irrelevant. Because Grand Theft Auto is the biggest game. It's the biggest game, right? There's no other game that comes close to Grand Theft Auto, in my opinion. And when Grand Theft Auto 6 gets announced, believe me, you're going to see just what I mean. We've seen it with Grand Theft Auto 5. We see it in the numbers. We see it in the statistics. Let's read a little bit about this rumor, though. It says, anybody can post a bunch of rumored PS5 specs or anything else on Pastebin. That's the point of Pastebin. But these days, when morals of truth can be hidden in a quantity of internet BS, we at Games Radar Plus feel obligated to present you the details along with a few complimentary barrels of industrial-grade salt. Seriously, lay down enough salt to melt a long stretch of icy highway before you read on. But do read on, because it's always fun to get another perspective on what the PS5 may end up being. The original Pastebin file, which claims to be from a European game developer working on a PS5 launch game, was created back in December and has been making the rounds again recently. It lays out when PS5 could be announced and when it might arrive, some potential specs for the hardware, including a PSVR follow-up, and a few games that could come out in its early launch period. According to the Pastebin, PS5 will get a small reveal sometime from April to June this year, though not E3 itself, because Sony is skipping E3 2019. So, interesting to point this out. This came true. A small reveal between April and June. That's exactly what we got with Wired magazine. Okay, so that's why this is important and why we need to pay a little bit of attention to this, because so far, this is correct. This is correct. So, let's keep going on here. So, though not E3 itself, because Sony is skipping E3 2019, the console will then arrive in a March or November of 2020 for $499, which would be $100 more than the PS5's launch price. But after we got this reveal from Wired, right, that's what we're speculating. That's what people have been agreeing on, that it seems like this is going to be a $500 console. So it will arrive with backwards compatibility, that's been confirmed, and with a 7nm Ryzen 8 core, 16-thread processor of unknown speed, with the architecture targeting 14 teraflops. Interesting. Okay, so here's where things continue to get even more interesting. Targeting 14 teraflops. Now that sounds absurd to a lot of people, but recently, and I didn't want to cover this, but I figure it's worth mentioning here, a supposed insider on Twitter, I forget his name, so forgive me, I don't have it off the top of my head here, but he basically came out here and said that the PS5 is a beast and it's currently targeting around 13 teraflops or roughly around there. So this is where we really don't know. We're going to have to wait till we get official specs, but this individual ended up deleting the tweet and then claiming that, oh, that was a mistake, don't listen to that, whatever, but maybe he deleted it because he realized he shared some information he wasn't supposed to. We really don't know. But so far, a lot of what this Pastebin leak had said, now this came out in December, it's correct so far. Most of it's correct. So let's keep going on here. The Pastebin says that this will position the console for 4K gaming with 8K upscaling support, another thing it's correct on, as well as better performance for a new wireless iteration of PSVR, which will arrive in the same year. So Sony hasn't said anything yet about the wireless VR, but come on, we know they're working on it. The DualShock controller will receive some update too, with some sort of camera inside for VR and a new kind of input that reportedly resembles the Steam controller trackpad for better analog precision. As for games, here's the selection of PS5 exclusives you'll have to choose from at launch according to Pastebin. Gran Turismo 7 with VR support, PUBG free-to-play 4K remaster, The Last of Us Part 2 remaster, Ghost of Tsushima remaster, 2 or 3 more AAA games, and other PSVR games. So, I mean, you know, this could be anybody's guess. These could be completely made up. They could be 100% accurate. I think we're far enough out that I don't think Sony even knows exactly. Maybe this is just what they have planned. We don't know. We won't know until we get there. This is the part where I started doubting extra hard. According to the leak, 4 of the 6 to 7 major PS5 exclusive games will be remastered versions of current generation games. I know Sony went a bit remaster happy with PS4, but wow. Then the part about non-exclusives heading to PS5 in 2020 is where I threw my hands up. Battlefield Bad Company 3, Harry Potter, which, interesting, that Harry Potter game is actually real. We did see some leaked footage of that. GTA 6, Assassin's Creed. GTA 6 in 2020 when Red Dead Redemption 2 arrived late last year. Now I'll grant you that the original Red Dead Redemption came out in 2010, just 2 years after GTA 4, but those largely came from different studios, Rockstar San Diego and Rockstar North, respectively. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a massive global effort from all across Rockstar Studios, which makes me doubt that much progress on GTA 6 was being made in that time. And when we all know that Bad Company 3 is just the Battlefield version of Skate 4, no, I wouldn't say that. See, I don't agree with this. Battlefield Bad Company 3 actually has been heavily rumored. It's actually been talked about. I've seen some supposed Battlefield insiders last year actually saying that this was a game that's being worked on, and it's been worked on for a while, and it's supposed to be the game that comes out after Battlefield 5. So I don't agree with that, although I would love to see Skate 4. So the most believable statement in the entire paste bin is that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 will hit PS5 sometime in 2021. I could just say that right now without any context or leaks or internal info that it would be believable. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 for PS5 in 2021. Sure, that sounds about right. Want something a little bit more certain to look forward to? Check out our upcoming PS4 games list. So, okay, something that needs to be talked about here is the, first of all, how this paste bin leak is, a lot of it is actually accurate. Like, this is where we need to kind of take this GTA timed exclusive leak a little bit more seriously. There's been a recent leak that has come out claiming this, and it also comes from Pastebin. So this is where we need to think about everything we have here with the information of the PlayStation 5, the supposed lineup, how this Pastebin leak was saying that GTA 6 is going to be a 2020 launch, and now we're hearing that GTA 6 is potentially going to be a 1-month timed exclusive for the PS5. It could be true. It could be completely false. I mean, this is one of those things where you really just have to kind of make up your own mind and say whether, oh yeah, there could be truth to this. This could be what happens. I could see Sony pulling off a move like this. And here's the thing what people need to understand about Sony, and something they've learned with the PlayStation 4. And I want to end this video soon because I don't want to make it too long, but Sony is more cutthroat than people realize. Sony understands the position they're in. They need to be even more aggressive going forward. They realize they cannot get complacent. Now, they may get complacent in some areas, but what I'm talking about is making a move like actually paying the necessary amount required to Take-Two Interactive to secure GTA 6 as a 1-month launch exclusive. That the amount of money would be absurd, but at the same time, I could see Sony doing something like that, because you have to understand the number one goal for Sony going in the next generation is to get PS5s in the hands of gamers, into people's homes, and as many as possible across the world. So you take a brand like PlayStation, which is globally known and recognized, and then you take the most well-known gaming brand, that being Grand Theft Auto, also very well-known, globally recognized. You put those two together, boom, there you have it. It's over. At that point, that literally would essentially set Xbox on fire. I mean, if Sony wants to be that cutthroat where they're willing to pay the amount necessary, and Take-Two Interactive says, okay, we'll do it. You're willing to pay the money that we're asking for? Let's do it. 1-month timed exclusive. See, Take-Two Interactive would still win there because they would still be able to launch it on other platforms, of course. But I promise you, if Sony were to do this, getting just that 1 month would be enough. That would be all it takes, man. I'm telling you. Now, I may be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but hey, I like to try to bring the energy to the channel here, and we do have to realize that all of this could just be nothing, right? Like, this could be nothing, but it is worth pointing out here, people, that this Pastebin article, or post, I'm getting everything confused here, this Pastebin post that came out last December, okay, was correct about a few things that it said up front about we're going to get a light reveal between April and June of the PS5, and we're going to get some specs, and that has turned out to be true. So who's to say that the other things posted here aren't true either? Battlefield Bad Company 3 has been heavily rumored. We know there's a Harry Potter game in development. We know that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is coming. And sure, some of these you could maybe just say because it's likely and it could seem true. But I think people really need to kind of look at this a little bit more closely and realize maybe GTA 6 is actually farther along in development than we think. Much further along. And it's been in development. Because you have to remember, GTA 5... that came out the end of last generation, man. It's been a long time. And we know Sony, they want... listen, Sony doesn't want competition, okay? They want to be on top. They want to stay on top. And they will do whatever it takes to achieve that. So I will say that if maybe there are some games that are further along, like Horizon Zero Dawn 2, for example, if that's not going to be able to be ready to be a launch title for the PS5, Sony knows they need to sell the PS5. Maybe they will be relying on some remasters and a 1-month timed GTA 6 exclusive. So I don't know, guys. I just thought that this would make for some really interesting conversation because it's something I've been thinking about. And you know, if none of it ends up being true, no big deal. But we need to at least acknowledge this. And again, I guess I'm sorry for some people who maybe thought that this video was a little bit clickbait, but I didn't want this video to come off as like GTA 6 leak, it's going to be this and that, because I feel like there's just so many of those videos, and a lot of those videos leave such a bad taste in so many people's mouths. But I wanted to kind of have this conversation about an actual leak and rumor that has a little bit of credibility here that could end up being more true than maybe any of us even realize. So yeah, at this point I'm going to ask you to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm sure you're already way ahead of me on that one. I'm going to be really interested to see what you guys have to say about this. Be sure to leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. If you enjoy the content, I appreciate all the support you guys have been showing me here recently. It does not go unnoticed. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want more content like this. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share the video out on top of all that because it helps tremendously. But until next time, guys, take care.